So the first one, Link is actually inhabited by the consciousness of the Master Sword.
Sorry, it's already bad.
All right.
All right, you read it, and then I'll explain to you exactly why it's wrong.
Redditor CWES14 finds Link to be a bit cold, distant, and arguably inhuman in Breath of the Wild. What could possibly explain this? Well, maybe he's not human. The Redditor theorizes that the consciousness within the Master Sword actually inhabits Link's body. Using the resurrection process, which explains why he doesn't retain his memory, why he remains distant from Mipha and Zelda, and why Zelda keeps talking about Link's need to grow with the sword.
Okay, so here's everything wrong with this.
Does this theory change everything?
First of all, it does not change anything. Link's cold and distant because that's the personality the game writers decided to give him, is that he's a silent protagonist. The consciousness of the Master Sword being Phi can't possess Link's body because it's in the Master Sword and it talks to Link and Zelda, so it's clearly in the sword and not in his body. That doesn't make any sense. Resurrecting someone isn't a transferal of consciousness.
All you need is
doesn't retain his memory because of the Shrine of Resurrection. It clearly some side effect of that, and he remains distant from Mipha and Zelda. I would say he doesn't actually remain distant from them. Maybe during the events of the game, but not in the memories. And Zelda's one time mentions Link's need to grow with the sword. Literally, it was not a literal thing. Like if Link was possessed by the consciousness of the sword, it wouldn't be Link growing with the sword because they're the same thing. Then it just none of it makes any sense.
Yeah, another thing is that him being distant from the champions in Zelda is they're all dead. They're
dead. That's why.
Yeah,
and in the memories, he's not distant from them.
They're physically not there. So. Literally, he has to be distant from them until the very end when you save Zelda. But with Yunobo and some of the other descendants of the champions, he's good friends with them. So and then it's the same Link in every game. He's always distant from everyone because you only get one or two travel companions during the game. In Wind Waker, you get Bird Girl. And Majora's Mask, you kind of have a connection with Anju. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Or Cafe.
Yeah, and there's your fairies in the games. And it just... Anyways,
Twilight Princess has Mipha. I think it's just this game doesn't have your companion character.
Midna? What do you mean? Did you say Mipha?
No, Midna.
You said Mipha?
No.
You said, you meant Midna. You said Mipha.
Well then, fine. Mipha.
That's okay.
Technically, Twilight Princess Link can interact with Mipha because Wolf Link is in Breath of the Wild, but it's not canon.
It's not canon.
Yeah.
And also, anyways, this was a...
Isn't that weird?
This was a bad theory.
Yeah.
This gets my vote thumbs down.
Don't you think that's weird, though? Aonuma, in the interview, had to come out and state that certain things in Breath of the Wild weren't canon. We just added it because it was fun. So some of the DLC costumes and Wolf Link being there, that's why they're optional. So anything that's DLC or optional in Breath of the Wild technically isn't canon. It's just there to be more fun. So you want to go on to the next one?
Sure.
Number 13.
Number 13. The Shrine of Resurrection creates a new hero. So this Redditor believes the Shrine of Resurrection's name actually provides a clue to what its purpose truly is, which apparently is not resurrection, according to this theory. So that makes no sense. In addition to healing heroes, the shrine is also meant to reincarnate one, which is not the same thing as resurrection. So again, this makes no sense. The Shrine of Resurrection doesn't bring back a specific person or hero, says this Redditor. It instead resurrects the spirit of the hero, creating a new hero using the old one as a template. The theory suggests that if the shrine were simply healing Link, it wouldn't take 100 years, but perhaps reincarnation takes longer. Okay, who's to say it wouldn't take 100 years? We don't know what this technology is capable of, but also it's clearly that same Link from 100 years before. He was placed in a Shrine of Resurrection, and then he regains his own memories. It's clearly not a new hero in Breath of the Wild from 100 years before. I feel like whoever wrote this game hadn't played the game, or whoever wrote this theory hadn't played the game, because just that it makes no freaking sense. Any thoughts to add here, Jesse?
No, it's like similar to the first one that we did. It just like, so a theory is like an educated guess.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing educated about this. Because like the game tells you this is Link from 100 years ago.
Yes.
And then like someone's just like, no, it's not.
No. This is a new Link.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Yep.
The only time I'm aware that there is a different Link is in a Link Between Worlds, where there's Old Man Link that's hinted at being a Link from A Link to the Past. And then Twilight Princess has Ocarina of Time Link. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was actually the Link in Twilight Princess originally was the Hero of Time, because they wanted to make a third Hero of Time game, but they changed it to Twilight Princess.
Yes. Jesse, we got a super chat from
Oh my
Clown
gosh.
Review. $5 says, love your channel, and I love you guys. Gonna finish Age of Calamity now, but thanks for the great content. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Another great thing. Do you remember the screenshot that I sent you of that guitarist from one of my favorite bands? So a quick story that's a bit off topic, because Daniel and I always get off topic when it's just us. 𝐓𝐿𝐼 has to be on here with her whip to get us back in topic. But I was reaching out to like tons and tons of people from the different, like the gaming industry and music and everything. And I've had a few people and some bands that I listen to that I've become friends with, because I don't know, it just happened because of YouTube.
Right.
But one of them was a Skylit Drive, and I messaged the guitarist, and he was like, holy crap, I love your channel. It would be an honor to come on. And I'm like, holy crap, I love your music. It would be an honor for you to come on. So, like, things like that happen.
Pretty cool.
So, like, the clown world saying, love your channel and stuff, it's, like, always the best thing to hear. Because, like, the other day we had that guy on Twitter that was like, when are you guys going to start making videos again? And it's like, did you not see any of the tweets? Like, the stuff that I've been dealing with for the past few months?
It's too bad he doesn't think that the videos we're currently making are good.
Yeah.
that was my thought.
Yeah, like the new Zelda game released, and we literally had one of the stars from the game on the channel. And he's like, are you going to make a good video? I was like, dude, we had the guy who worked on the game on the channel. Like, what better Hyrule Warriors content would you want? Like, since we weren't talking spoilers, we just talked about all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Like, what he went through with recording and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I don't know if it would be ignorance, but people like that, to where it's like, because I tweeted everything, and I think I posted something on the community tab for YouTube to let people know. And it's like, to make a short version, a death in the family, moving to a new place, not having a room for like a month, dealing with basically a paralyzed hand and a shortage of money from not making videos. So yeah, that's why. And then someone had like the audacity to be like, when are you guys gonna make good videos again? And it's like, did you not see that, like, yesterday we had literally the guy working on it, and then next week we're having another person who's coming on? So
also, I just want to put this out there. YouTube's not easy work, guys. It is not easy work. And anyone who thinks that they could just, whatever, I could do it better, like, you're welcome to do it. Anyone can make a YouTube channel. Go for it.
Yeah, like there are the people that they'll just
not easy work.
like in a lot of Game Explain videos,
Mhm.
which we also had something planned with him, but that's also now rescheduled. But
Yeah.
with his channel and Nintendo Prime and some others, they'll have the quick videos to where it's just like random gameplay of the game, and then they talk about something. To where like that's fine when you're because they're putting out so many videos. If they edited it the way that we did, then it would take them all day just to make the one video. So they wouldn't be able to get the content out that they need. To where when we make videos, we try every single thing that we're saying in the audio while we're talking about it. We try to have it visually represented on the screen, which is why we don't have 2-minute long gameplay footage or cutscenes. It usually cuts to something different every 8 or 10 seconds. That way, when we change what we're talking about, like we won't be talking about the Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time while gameplay of Breath of the Wild is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
Yeah.
A little rant.
But yeah, it's not easy work though, and again, not to bash on any of these channels, of course, because they do good stuff, they do good work. It's just that like if you really think that YouTube is not easy work, you basically have to be a writer, director, voiceover person, editor, publicist, marketing person, all of those jobs rolled into one, and you do it either by yourself or in a very small team. And so it's not easy work at all. That's why my channel has such a slow output of videos, because I have all this going on as well as a day job to pay my bills and stuff. So
and another thing is, if you look at this channel, there's 4 main people on it.
Mm-hmm.
And used to, we did for a while, we had a new video every day, but it was like a podcast episode, and then we would have 1 or 2 real scripted videos. And the reason we would only have 1 or 2 scripted videos a week is because it took that week to make the video, as well as editing all of the other stuff.
I mean, this is not complaining. We love doing it. That's why we do. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But nothing good is easy. So.
But that's why, like, it just makes me cringe when people are like, when are you going to make videos again? Or when are you going to make good videos again? Because, like, what do you think is good? We make the theory videos, and people love them, and then they hate when the podcast goes up. But then there's people that love the podcast and hate when the theories go up. And then there's people that love both or hate both. So when someone's like, make a good video again, we're like, what video do you think is good? Because we have thousands of fans of the podcast, and we have thousands of fans of the theory videos. So, like, Anyways, continue, Daniel.
Sorry. But yes. Again, we'll jump back into this.
What got us on that topic anyway?
That's a good question.
The tip, the $5 thing that was left.
Yes,
because he said he loved the channel.
Thank you, Clown World Review.
And then I went on a rant about people not loving the channel. You want to know a crazy fact?
Sure.
While we've so far we've had a total of 1,311 views
on this video.
While we've been live. So interesting.
Cool.
All right, continue.
Humans. Okay. Number, what are we on? 12 of this list here. Breath of the Wild establishes a new 4th timeline. I'm rolling my eyes again. Another Redditor believes Breath of the Wild doesn't belong in any of the 3 established timelines. Instead, they argue that it marks the creation of a new one that takes place after Ocarina of Time. In this new timeline, Link has been cloned and put into stasis for when Hyrule needs him again. The theory goes, in this timeline, Zelda and the sages managed to stop Ganon and seal him for 1,000 years until he breaks free once again. Not sure where they got 1,000 from. Could be a typo from 10,000 or a typo from 100.
Yeah.
Who knows? This is why I think it's kind of a new timeline. It's an alternate adult Link timeline where Ganon didn't escape until much later, when Ganon was ready with the hero time, aka Ocarina of Time. Like, it's hinted Ocarina of Time by Nintendo themselves, and Easter eggs in Breath of the Wild. Not sure what they're referring to there. It's proven possible by the already existing timelines as well as Four Swords. Again, I don't think this theory was written by anyone who actually played the game. This is definitely a Link that was defeated and then put in the Shrine of Resurrection for 100 years and then comes out. not a Link that they cloned and put in stasis until he was needed. Because if that's the case, then he would have woken up 100 years ago instead of 100 years after the Calamity Strikes. So, anyways, makes no sense. That's why it's near the bottom of the list. So, any thoughts there, Jesse?
Well, how it starts out saying that it's a new timeline, that it doesn't belong in the others. Again, like these are some of the comments that we get on the videos. Where an example that we mentioned earlier, someone will say something like this while we have the literal quote from the person who made the game on the screen saying the exact opposite, and the person's still like, no, it's a new time. Like the Link is dead thing is notorious for that. Or Termina only existed when Skull Kid put on the mask, is what Zelda Encyclopedia says. But then in the game itself, you can see him in Termina like weeks
before he stole the mask.
Yeah, like weeks before he even knew the mask existed. He's with those fairies running around in Termina. So like the game itself disproves what the Zelda Encyclopedia says. And even though it's in the game and you can see it, there's still people like this that are like, no, that's not true. The thing that I made up is true, not the thing that the person who made the game made up. But yeah, because there's been like 1,000 times where he said that the three things Aonuma said about the timeline was that like it takes place long after Ocarina of Time, and it has no direct connection to Wind Waker. Because someone was like, this game has Koroks. That means it's a sequel to Wind Waker. And he's like, no, we just used Koroks because we already had the models made from Wind Waker. So it's like, it was just easier.
It's the most Nintendo explanation for anything. They're like, yeah,
it was just faster. Because the Koroks originally were the Kokiri, but then they changed it because they had the pedestals everywhere. And in Hyrule Historia, a lot of people just skip over this and never take notice, but it has images of the original 4 champions.
And creating a champion, not Hyrule Historia.
And it has
concept art.
Yeah, the Gerudo, instead of the swords that she has, it looks like a male Gerudo with a hook shot. And then there's a Kokiri with the whip as a champion. And I'm just thinking, if the Kokiri has the whip, then what would his divine beast have been? Because it wouldn't have been.
So I don't know if
the Rito weren't. The Rito wasn't in it. No, that's what I mean.
Instead of Rito,
because that's the flying one. So then, if that got replaced by the Kokiri, what would it have been?
But the thing is, there might have been more than just 4 initially planned. Like there's scrap divine beast concept art there as well. So
there's like the one that looks like. I forgot that movie, but it's like aliens attack and like Tom Cruise is running everywhere.
Oh, like War of the Worlds?
Yeah, like there's one concept of a divine beast or an enemy that looks like a giant thing like that with like long tentacle arms that's running around, and it has like a literal city built on top of it. Yeah. So there's really cool concept art that I hope comes back in Breath of the Wild too.
Yes, it might. But the as far as this theory goes, I feel like they started it on like an okay, this could be an interesting theory note, and then it just spirals into nonsense. They're like, oh, it might be a new timeline, and you're like, okay, how? And they're like, clones and stasis, and you're like, no, okay, you lost me there, buddy. So, anyways, let's move on. All
right, I'll try to do the next one. 12.
Yes, number 11.
Oh, 11. All right, my laptop's kind of far away, so I gotta make the text. Breath of the Wild doesn't fit in the timeline. Hyrule Historia offers
the same theory again, or same headline for the theory.
Yeah, this is how lazy some of these websites are. Hyrule Historia offers 3 official timelines for the world. Also in the chat, instead of looking at us reading this, would you want me to put the list on screen so you can see it and read along with us? Let me know. After Link's time travel in Ocarina of Time splits the timeline, the story goes off in 3 distinct directions. No, it goes off in 2, and Link dying goes off in the other. So that's a little misconception. In Wind Waker, Hyrule is left with no hero when Link travels back in time. In Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess, Link returns to Hyrule as a child. At least they didn't say he died in Majora's Mask. So they have that right. In The Legend of Zelda and The Adventure of Link, Link is defeated by Ganon. Is he? They make it sound like he's defeated in those games. He's not, because the whole point of The Adventure of Link is that they're trying to bring back Ganon.
They got this totally wrong. Oh no, it's just
And that timeline is created because Link is defeated.
The downfall timeline, yeah, but the way they phrased it makes it sound like in Zelda 2 that Link was defeated, but that's not. Yeah. It's just the phrasing is horrible. Come on.
Series creator Shigeru Miyamoto and producer Aonuma claim that Breath of the Wild falls after Ocarina of Time in the overall timeline, which is what I mentioned earlier, but don't specifically specify which of the three plots it fits into. It can't be the Wind Waker timeline because in that game, a new Hyrule is founded, yet Breath of the Wild features the Temple of Time from the old kingdom of Hyrule. That doesn't make sense either, because Temple of Time was there in Ocarina of Time when it split. So that means in all three timelines, the Temple of Time would still be there. Because even after Hyrule is destroyed in the adult timeline, the temple is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
A new Hyrule is founded, yet Breath of the Wild features Temple of Time from the old kingdom. See that? It doesn't make sense.
That's like of all the evidence you could have pulled, that's the worst one.
Yeah. YouTuber 𝐓𝐼𝐽, one of our friends.
Celtic spelled wrong.
Yeah. One of our good friends, theorizes that the game must fit into the third timeline due to the Master Sword's location in the Lost Woods. See, the thing with this, I think 𝐓𝐼𝐽, RMFH, us, everyone, Zelda Master, has made videos talking about how it could fit possibly in each of the timelines or be connected to all of the timelines. So,
it's also worth noting that the video they're referencing that 𝐓𝐼𝐽 put out was pre-release. It was before Breath of the Wild came out. This article was written earlier this year. And so in that video, I've seen it. It's 𝐓𝐼𝐽's video with Breath of the Wild, the timeline dilemma and placement. He's basically saying, I don't know what timeline it's in. Here's all the evidence for each timeline, but it's impossible to say which one it's in at this point. Yeah. That's the gist of his video. So what this guy is saying in this article is taking 𝐓𝐼𝐽's video and the evidence in that video way all the way out of context. Way out of context.
So let's see. At one point, Breath of the Wild, Zelda says, whether skybound, adrift in time, or steeped in the glowing embers of twilight, this is an obvious reference to the second timeline, but the Master Sword would have to be in the Temple of Time if that all fit together. In short, every possible timeline has a disproving element. The thing there is, the sword could be anywhere. It just, because at any time, someone could take it and put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
We know Link is sort of the only one that's allowed to, mess with the sword, but
mostly
Princess Zelda always does something with it as well. She's literally the one that takes it back to the Deku Tree. So there's thousands of years that pass, and you don't know where the sword came from originally when the divine beasts were made, the 1,000 years ago thing.
10,000.
Yeah. Whenever they used the divine beasts to fight Ganon, we don't know where the Master Sword was taken then. So it's it could have been at the Temple of Time, but then they went to the Temple of Time. Link from that era, or the hero from that era, got the Master Sword, took it, beat Ganon, and then instead of putting it back in the Temple of Time, he put it in Korok Forest. So that whole thing of where the Master Sword is has absolutely nothing to do with the timeline. Because we don't know what... It's 10,000 years. Look how different Twilight Princess Hyrule is from Ocarina of Time's Hyrule. And that's just 200 or 300 years. And then look at Breath of the Wild. If we went back 10,000 years from where we live in the real world, the pyramids of Egypt wouldn't even be built yet. And that was 5,000 or 6,000 years ago. So it's that's a long time.
Yeah.
Like 10,000 years is like longer than documented human history. So there's like so much that could have happened between then.
Wow.
So yeah, go to the next one.
Yeah. All right. The next one, the world of Breath of the Wild parallels Wind Waker. Again, I'm just like,
Wait, what are they want me to put it on screen?
Are
Are they saying yes because they agree with us, or yes because?
Hard to say.
I'll put it on for this one. I'll
sure.
put it on.
For sure. All right, but yes. This theory goes, Wind Waker takes place in a Hyrule that has been completely flooded by the gods in an effort to contain Ganon, sort of. The Redditor believes that this helps explain the world of Breath of the Wild. Those same gods, Hylia, Din, Farore, and Nehru, create an alternate world, much like Lorule, to give the inhabitants of the flooded Hyrule a place to live. Fast forward 10,000 years and you reach the world of Breath of the Wild. The game's world even features advanced technology like the Sheikah Slate, which is reminiscent of the Wind Waker's Tower of Gods. In theory, this proves that there's a connection between the two worlds. So the thing is that actually what happened in the Wind Waker is that people weren't given an alternate universe to go and inhabit. They climbed, it says in the game's prologue, they climbed to the mountaintops, which became islands because the world was flooded, and they lived on those islands. That's what happened. And this theory, connecting the Tower of the Gods to the Sheikah Slate, is not necessarily a bad connection, but it doesn't prove that. It just proves that they probably have similar origins, being Sheikah probably, more than anything else. It doesn't necessarily say that those are somehow in the same alternate universe. In fact, actually saying that it's a parallel universe would distance it from those two things from each other more than anything else. Not, but it doesn't. This theory makes no sense, guys. The more I keep looking at it and trying to reread it, the more my brain goes, no, I don't like this. It doesn't make any sense.
The next one,
so,
Breath of the Wild exists. Breath of the Wild exists at the end of the failed hero timeline,